Ya llegó Estrella.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's Miami Life and Fitness. In today's video, we're going to be talking about estrogen suppress and why it's important during contest prep. Stay tuned. And if you need to check your hormones, if you don't know where you're going to get your hormones done or your labs checked because the doctor won't do it for you, then go to privatemdlabs.com. Use my code Miami for a 15% off. Choose whatever test panel you want, put it in the checkout, put it in your cart, check out. You're gonna get a script and go immediately to get your labs done. No questions asked. It's easy. So rolling right into the video, this video goes out to K. Michelle, and K. Michelle wants to know what is the importance of estrogen blockers for contest prep. So that's today's video. But before we get right into that, we're gonna talk about the medicinal use and how it's used in medicine and why reducing estrogen and make sure that your estrogen is balanced, why it's so important. So how it's used in the medicinal world is it's used to obviously suppress estrogen. If a woman or a man has the estrogen way too high, if you have heavy periods, they use it if you have just had breast surgery, if you had cancer, breast cancer, if you had uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, they give it to these patients after the surgery or even before surgery to try and reduce the estrogen, which is what caused these cancers to begin with. They usually start with Novadex, and then maybe in a couple of years or a few years, the doctor will switch you from Novadex onto AROMATASE. If a person has high estrogen, it could be very detrimental to your health and cause a lot of health issues like all the cancers that I just mentioned, high blood pressure, heart conditions, etc. So we have to make sure that the estrogen is suppressed. We want to make sure that you are at a healthy estrogen range so that you don't basically get overweight, you are depressed, you have a lack of life, lack of everything, you don't want to do anything, you're fatigued, you don't want to do anything, and you just lose your ambition for living life in general. So now we're gonna talk about how it's used in contest prep. So here's the thing, if you are a competitor or you are planning on competing, depending on your muscle mass and how much fat you have on you, your fat percentage and your estrogen levels, which I know a lot of you don't get them checked, which is why I always say get your labs done every 3 months. You have to be on a cycle. Now, a lot of people, men and women who are HRT or TRT, the testosterone replacement therapy, usually men and women are just on testosterone, but some clinics also prescribe HCG and an AI, which stands for aromatase inhibitor, or also an estrogen suppress or an estrogen blocker, either one. And sometimes we have to do this to maintain the estrogen balance. Why? Because as you take testosterone, or men, if you are on a cycle, whether you are competing or not, if you take too much testosterone or other supplements that are going to increase your testosterone, your estrogen level will increase as well because the testosterone will convert into estrogen and DHT. So if you don't suppress the estrogen or make sure you keep your estrogen balanced, your estrogen will go way high, out of balance, you will hold on to a lot of fat, and yeah, you're still gonna be gaining muscle, but you're gonna have a lot of fat sitting over your muscle. When you have water retention and you're holding too much water, it's gonna constrict your arteries, thus making the blood harder to move through the arteries to get to your heart, which means your heart has to work harder. You're gonna increase your blood pressure, and now you're putting stress on the heart. So it's very, very imperative that you control the estrogen, whether you're on a cycle or not. Now, as far as a competitor, if you really wanna look your best, depending on, again, where a woman or a man is during their prep cycle, even before a prep cycle, you will need to get on an estrogen blocker. Why? Because you want to reduce the estrogen. And even if you're 6 months out from a show, if you're planning on doing a show, say now it's May and November, and if I have a female that I'm training and her estrogen level is at 100, you will be put on an estrogen blocker right now. Not contest prep when you're 6 weeks out, right now, because we're gonna start reducing estrogen now so you can start to tighten up and start to basically tighten and dial in as of right now to reduce the excess fat, the bloating, and the water retention. Now, as you're getting close and you're in the contest prep, most coaches who know what they're doing will prescribe it and would include it in their cycle as part of the DCT, which is what I came up with during psychotherapy, during the last 6 to 8 weeks, again, depending on where your estrogen is. And the reason why, even though you may be at a 15% body fat or 12% body fat, we want to get rid of all this excess stuff that's underneath, whatever water retention, the least bit of bloating, and that's mainly to dry up in the midsection, which is in the abdomen, your lower back, and even in the glutes, which is where most people, especially women, hold all of their fat. Men, the love handles, the sides, the lower back, that's where the men hold their fat. So even if you're at a low body weight, you have to really get it down as low as possible to reduce all that water so you can look dry, lean, and crispy. That's what you want. You want to see that vascularity. You want to see like that crispy, like your skin is cracking. You want it really thin so you can actually see the veins and dry everything out. Now when you compare, and then when you put that and you compare that on top of your cycle, and then you add in the winstrol at the end, which is obviously a drying agent, as I made that video a couple of days ago, watch here the winstrol video, then that is a drying agent, and it's used in combination with the estrogen blocker to reduce all of the estrogen, dry you out, and give you that lean, crispy look so you can look your best on stage. If women don't want to use an estrogen suppress, then you're going to be holding water and having the estrogen, which you needed to get rid of as you get on stage. And you might look good, but you're not going to look great, which means you're not going to look your best, which means you're not going to get first call out. And who wants to spend $1,000 on a bikini and another $1,000 on everything else you got to buy just to come in at number 13, to take cute pictures to post on your Instagram that you did a show? All right, so my final take and my advice to you is to always check your labs and check your hormonal panel and check where your estrogen is, and obviously your testosterone level, but you really want to check where the estrogen is, because if you don't really have the estrogen at a healthy level, not only are you going to get health problems, but you're really never going to look that great because your muscles are never going to be showcased and you're just going to be storing fat and holding on to fat. So if you are in competition prep, the main thing is you always want to check your labs, and you are going to need it the last 6 to 8 weeks, men or female. But the thing is, even if you're on a TRT regimen, even if you're taking testosterone, and even if that's all you're taking, depending on the amount that you're taking, some people aromatize faster than others, and then you're just going to end up aromatizing and creating the water retention, increasing your estrogen. You're just going to look fat and blubby like Marshmallow Man. And at that point, you're just not going to look good. So, K. Michelle, it's really important that you find a coach who cycles you properly, includes the proper supplements in your cycle, whatever's necessary for you to reach your goal. Hopefully he is educated and responsible enough to let you know that you should get labs done, so he knows where your estrogen level is and your testosterone, so he knows exactly what to give you, because some women may need letrozole or aromacin, and some women may only need Novadex. So again, it really all depends on where you are, because if you don't keep the estrogen under control, all you're gonna do is store fat and you're gonna look like a blimp. And we don't want that, because that's ugly. Again, a lot of people are watching the videos, and I know you like the videos because my watch time keeps getting increased, but you're not hitting the like button, which you probably should do right now, and you're not hitting the subscribe button. So subscribe, comment, like, and share the video on WhatsApp, email, or what other platform, Android or Apple phone you're on. Share the video, because if you're bodybuilding and you're exercising and you want to be fit, because who doesn't, we all need some advice from Miami Life. Everyone, have a great week. Watch one of these 2 videos